Hey guys, in today's video I will be doing another tropical update on Hurricane Zeta. It has really intensified really over the past I would say 6 to 9 hours. Ever since really 8 a.m. this morning through now, it has just been continuing to intensify to the point where now, just before landfall, it is now at 110 miles per hour. It's a pretty strong Cat 2 hurricane, just on the borderline of being a major. And its pressure is now at 970 millibars. It's moving to the northeast rapidly at 24 miles per hour. So it's getting fairly close to making landfall again, as I just said. It should be making landfall, honestly, quite shortly. Let's look at the forecast cone, and you can see if that red X there, that's where the center is. It's literally just about offshore of southeast Louisiana. It's going to pretty much move directly over New Orleans. So New Orleans is going to get hit quite hard with like some really strong winds, pretty heavy rain, and even some storm surge maybe. So New Orleans, you're going to be in for a bit of a rough time for sure, and especially actually, in fact, Biloxi, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama, you guys will likely feel the worst of the storm surge, especially Biloxi. You guys could see up to 9 feet of storm surge. I'll show you that graphic in a minute. But you can see it will rapidly move up towards the north and east, across the eastern U.S., off the east coast, south of Long Island and Connecticut, and combined with Winter Storm Billy, and make this another big rainstorm for the northeast New England going into tomorrow and Friday, bringing the potential of some snowfall to central New York, the Berkshires, and central Massachusetts, central and western Massachusetts, maybe parts of very northern Connecticut, but it seems like a majority of the snowfall will be for, again, central, eastern New York, including the Catskills, the Berkshires of Massachusetts, and through the central part of Massachusetts, southern Vermont and New Hampshire, and potentially very northern portions of Connecticut as well. So that's pretty exciting, and even the coastal regions actually of Connecticut could see their first flights of the season. I don't expect any real accumulation with that, but yeah, that is what the remnants of Zeta and Winter Storm Billy will create going into tomorrow and Friday. So again, there's hurricane warnings in effect for southeastern Louisiana, including New Orleans and Biloxi as well for coastal Mississippi, and then tropical storm warnings for coastal Alabama and the very western portion of the Florida Panhandle coast. So there's that. Now let's look at the surge. And oh wow, this actually just updated, I think, with the 5 p.m. advisory. This has gotten with the extreme strength Zeta has become now just before landfall. The storm surge amounts have really gone up, especially for southeast bowl area of Louisiana into the coast of Mississippi, where now Lake Pontchartrain is expecting 4 to 6 feet of storm surge. That went up from like 3 to 5 feet. 4 to 6 feet, 6 to 9 feet even for coastal southeast Louisiana and the very southeastern point of Louisiana, 5 to 7 feet within that bowl, and then up to 11 feet now actually of storm surge for the Biloxi, Mississippi, coastal Mississippi area. So that's really that you guys got to really pay attention to that. Really make sure you are honestly your houses are prepared potentially to not get flooded from all that water. But if your house does experience storm surge flooding easily, and your house does flood easily, you might want to evacuate. If you already have, that's great. But if you haven't, maybe go to a more inland hotel or something. Coastal Alabama looks to get Mobile area looks to get 4 to 6 feet of storm surge, 6 to 9 feet of storm surge around the Mississippi-Alabama border, 3 to 5 feet, 2 to 4, 3 to 5 feet of storm surge for that eastern portion of the Alabama coastline. Florida Panhandle coastline through the very northern part of the west coast of Florida looks to get generally 1 to 3 feet of storm surge, maybe 2 to 4 feet of storm surge towards Pensacola. So yeah, storm surge is definitely a really big danger and factor with Zeta. So really pay attention to that in particular. And of course, because of that, you can see storm surge warnings are in effect for the southeastern coast of Louisiana. I believe actually New Orleans is a part of the storm surge warning. And of course, coastal Mississippi, Alabama, and the very western portion of the Florida Panhandle near the Florida Alabama border are also under storm surge warnings for, of course, very good reason, naturally. Now let's look at the rainfall totals you could be expecting in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. You can see New Orleans, your area, could be experiencing rainfall totals of up to 4 inches of rainfall. Same with you in Biloxi, around 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. Mobile, Alabama, you guys look to maybe only get about an inch or two of rainfall, so it won't be terrible rainfall exactly. It'll be more of a very dangerous wind and storm surge event, potentially, particularly the wind, though. And you can see pretty heavy rainfall extends up as well into the Carolinas, Asheville area up towards 2 to 4 to 6 inches of rainfall. Very eastern Tennessee could see up to 4 inches of rainfall. Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, southern New Jersey could see up towards 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. So, the rainfall isn't going to be the biggest, definitely isn't going to be the biggest factor here for, of course, especially Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. It'll be much more of a wind event, storm surge event, but still, getting added rainfall accumulation totals really adds to that potential flash flooding still. So along with that, let's look at the flash flooding risk, and you can see New Orleans, Biloxi, even Mobile actually is within the slight risk of flash flooding, and that extends for a lot of areas up into New Jersey, New York City, even very southern and western Connecticut, Long Island. So a lot of areas look to potentially see some flash flooding potential. Because of Delta, Zeta. What am I saying? Delta? No, Zeta. Because of especially the storm surge. So that is a look at the flash flooding. The tornado potential. It looks like southeastern Louisiana, coastal Mississippi, coastal Alabama is under a tornado watch. So there's the potential of some tornadic activity, severe weather for those regions, so that is also an extra bit of danger to look out for there. Okay, now finally on this, let's go to the wind speed probabilities, and you're pretty much 100% chance of seeing tropical storm force wind speed probabilities for sure for southeastern Louisiana, especially New Orleans, coastal Mississippi, coastal Alabama, including Biloxi and Mobile. And even Pensacola, Florida, the very western portion of the Florida Panhandle, looks to even also get up towards 100% chance of tropical storm force winds. Hurricane wind speed probabilities, you can see New Orleans has more of up to a 10% chance of hurricane wind speed probabilities, but it's that very, very coastal southeastern part of Louisiana that will likely see that hurricane wind speed probabilities because of generally just where Zeta will make landfall. So Biloxi looks to have about around a 20% chance of hurricane wind speed probabilities. And Mobile, Alabama, just like New Orleans, has up to a 10% chance of hurricane wind speed probabilities. So you guys will definitely experience some very windy conditions, maybe not hurricane wind speed conditions, but most likely generally very strong tropical storm wind conditions. So that is a look at what the National Hurricane Center has for the wind speed probabilities. The arrival time of the wind speed probabilities, the tropical storm force wind probabilities, the tropical storm winds have likely already arrived for much of the areas in southeastern Louisiana, even for Mississippi and Alabama. So, the weather's really deteriorating quickly now for all of those regions as the center is about to come ashore, and a lot of the damage and destruction from the storm surge and wind is likely starting to be underway, and likely will go through the rest of tonight into tomorrow. So, that is a look at the arrival time of the strongest of winds, but that's already starting, so yeah. All right, now let's go to tropical tidbits, and let's look at the satellite image for Hurricane Zeta, and it is looking very impressive. Actually, it's already made landfall, in fact, actually, so and it looks like the center is making pretty much a beeline right towards New Orleans, or maybe just to the east of New Orleans. And it's looking like it's bringing the heaviest of the coldest cloud tops and strongest of rainfall through New Orleans currently, and that will continue. And with all of that push of the strong winds over the water, that's really pushing all of that storm surge in towards southeastern Louisiana, coastal Mississippi, coastal Alabama. So again, those up to 11 feet of storm surge potential, that is definitely a very real risk for you guys in coastal Mississippi, and particularly Biloxi. So definitely you guys will be experiencing some flash flooding. That is definitely something that will occur. Now that it has made landfall, it's pretty much going to be dissipating and weakening from this point onward. So there is that. Now let's look at let's look at the aircraft recon, because this is very interesting. There's an Air Force plane already in. There's still an Air Force plane in Zeta, and you can see they've been finding they've been finding wind speeds of up towards between 96 to 113 knots. Even actually there is a bit of wind speeds that have been noticed of between 113 and 137 knots. So honestly, I'm surprised they didn't up it to a major hurricane at the 5 p.m. advisory. I think the reanalysis of this hurricane season going towards next spring, they will up Zeta to being a major hurricane at landfall, because there seems to be, I think, enough evidence of that for sure. There is a look at what the Air Force, the recon planes have been finding. In fact, let's look at the maps here, and you can see, they've been finding flight level winds up towards 110 knots, 115 knots even, so that is definitely up towards that major hurricane status. So that's a good sign there. All right, now let's go and show you what the GFS and CMC models are forecasting for. Oh no, wrong area, for Zeta. Let's go to Southeast U.S. and we'll bring this forward in time. And there we go. Okay, now let's go and show you total accumulated precipitation. You can see again that strip of southeastern Louisiana, including New Orleans, just outside of Biloxi, and to the north of Mobile through the northern half of Alabama, and to the northern, the very northern portions of Georgia. Looks to see 2+ inches of rainfall, even potentially up towards 4 or 5 inches of rainfall in the Asheville area, and those mountainous regions of very western North Carolina and very eastern Tennessee look to get up towards 4 or 5 inches of rainfall. So it'll be a pretty big rainmaker, more for the much more inland areas of those mountainous regions there of North Carolina, Tennessee. So that's what the GFS is showing for rainfall totals. Now, Now let's show you the CMC model. Generally the same thing. Up through southeastern Louisiana, including New Orleans. The CMC is showing the total rainfall of 2+ inches, a bit farther to the south and east, much more inclusive of coastal Mississippi, including Mobile and Biloxi. So, looks like for definitely New Orleans, you could see up towards 2, maybe 3 inches of rainfall. Biloxi and Mobile, I'd say you guys could see anywhere from 1 to 4 inches of rainfall. More towards 1 to 3 inches of rainfall. Still, you could see some rainfall, accumulating rainfall, but really, you guys in New Orleans, and particularly Biloxi and Mobile, you guys really want to pay attention to the more of the storm surge amounts, because those are really going to be really, really devastating for you guys there, and especially Biloxi. You guys can see up to 11 feet of storm surge. That's really, really insane. So please take that extremely seriously. So now let's, so that's what the CMC and the GFS are showing for total rainfall from Zeta. All right, now to go ahead and start to close out the video. The Wikipedia page for the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season. We've had an extremely record-breaking, insane hurricane season. We've had a total of 28 depressions, 27 total named storms, 11 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes. It's been insane. We've had honestly, we've had the most active September for tropical cyclones in the Atlantic on record, and as well October, especially the latter half of October through this point, through the very end of October, we have seen crazy activity for October. We've had 4 named storms happen in October. Now, the named storm total for October isn't crazy. The part that's crazy is that 3 out of the 4 named storms we've seen have, all 3 of them rapidly intensified, 2 of which became pretty powerful storms, Delta and Well, actually, no, sorry. It's just Delta, and then Epsilon, while also rapidly intensified, became a major hurricane. Best looking, Epsilon by far for me is definitely the best looking tropical cyclone of this season. And then, of course, we've now had Zeta, which is also rapidly intensified and become another major threat and very strong, powerful system, bringing most likely pretty devastating effects of especially storm surge and wind to, once again, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida Panhandle. Like I mean, that has been the heart of the worst of the conditions from the hurricane season for the U.S. That is where the worst of the effects have been felt by far, for sure, especially Louisiana. The western Louisiana, Cameron, Louisiana, Cameron, Lake Charles, Louisiana has been hit twice by two major hurricanes, making landfall in pretty much almost the exact same area. So that's insane. And then Sally and now Zeta have made landfall in the more of the eastern regions of Louisiana. Well, actually, Sally didn't make landfall in eastern Louisiana, but still brought pretty some decent effects towards that region. But really, this Zeta, this is the big one for eastern Louisiana, especially New Orleans. So New Orleans, unfortunately, you guys really have to take this seriously. Make sure you are really prepared. And yeah, just really be prepared to ride this out. And you'll likely see some pretty damaging wind effects and maybe even some flooding from some storm surge even. So again, yeah, we've had 3 hurricanes in a row, Delta, Epsilon, and Zeta. Delta and Epsilon both rapidly intensified into a major hurricane. I think Zeta also got to major hurricane status just before it made landfall, but that may just be me. But I think there was just enough evidence for that. But again, still, Zeta got to a very strong Cat 2 hurricane making landfall, that is now bringing very devastating wind and storm surge effects to southeastern Louisiana, coastal Mississippi, coastal Alabama, and the very western coast of the Florida Panhandle. So that is it's truly insane. Now, we've gone through Zeta. We've gone through 6 named Greek alphabet. We've gone through 6 Greek alphabet names up to this point. That's crazy. 2005 ended with Zeta, so we are at the point of the naming list where 2005 ended, so that's insane. But we're still like 1 storm behind tying 2005, so we've got to get another 2 named storms to officially beat 2005 in terms of total named storms for sure. And I think we're definitely going to get there. I think we could end the season with having a total of maybe up towards 30 to 32 named storms. So that's going to be crazy. Here's the good news, though. I don't think we'll expect any more hurricanes to form for the rest of the season, and definitely don't expect any major hurricanes to form during the rest of the season whatsoever. But I think we could see still another maybe 3 to 5 named storms, probably more around 3 named storms, but still, we can't let our guard down. We could still see tropical cyclones hit the U.S. still going through November, through the official end of the hurricane season on November 30th. So do not let your guard down, but still it looks like the rest of the season I think will be a good bit more tame, and won't have as crazy of rapidly intensifying strong tropical cyclones. So that is it for today's video, guys. Really hope you enjoyed the video. Really hope you found this video useful, informative, enjoyable. This is my quick update. This is my update on Hurricane Zeta. Really hope you guys living in southeastern Louisiana, coastal Mississippi, coastal Alabama, even the very western coast of the Florida Panhandle. Really hope you guys are as prepared as possible, and really hope you guys are ready for this storm, because this storm is likely, it's already bringing pretty strong impacts to you guys there, but I really hope you guys are really fully prepared for this storm. So again, that's it for today's video, guys. Really hope you enjoyed this video. Please, if you did find it enjoyable or useful, informative, please consider liking the video, commenting on the video. If you're a first-time viewer and you liked what you saw in today's video, I do tons of this kind of content. I do tons of tropical content on my channel, so please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.